Guys, it's time. I mentioned in the last video that I wanted to make a Saints Row 2 video. All of my current videos and ideas are on hold. The new one released and it looks... It's the perfect timing, alright? It's meant to be. General consensus will tell you that everybody thinks the first Saints Row was alright, the second one was the best, and the third and fourth one are kind of meh, but who really gives a shit, right? But it's about this one, the second one. Until this day, people argue over which one was the best, which one was the worst, which one ruined the series. Whoever thought it was a good idea to make the last one look like a Fortnite sequel.
You're wearing a fucking bow tie.
I don't care about any of that shit today. The only thing I want to do is see how the game holds up after all of these years, because this game was my fucking childhood. I originally played this game on the PlayStation 3 in like 2011 or 2010. Why my mother decided to buy a game with a cover art looking like this for a 10-year-old, I will never know, but I'm forever grateful for it. No more elaborate intro. Let's go. Man, I miss games like these, where you just got sucked up into a completely different world and could stay there for hours, completely losing track of time. I'm fully aware these games still get made from time to time, and yeah, age is a factor, but this one was just something else. Customization, 50 different types of side activities, the best radio station I've ever seen, heard, acknowledged in my gaming history. It truly brings a tear to the eye. Before we delve into the topics I just mentioned, it would be fitting to actually know what the game is about. This automatically leads me to a confession that I've been locking up for years now. I have never played Saints Row 1. I know, shame on me and my entire family, but maybe I'll get around to it one day. Maybe. To be fair though, from what I gathered, I'm not missing much story-wise. The only thing you have to know is that your character gets blown to hell at the end, and in the sequel you wake up after a 3-year coma. You are part of, and you'd never have guessed it, but the 3rd Street Saints.
Oh yeah.
A street gang founded by Julius Little. After a very subtle break out of prison, you are dropped off in the center, after which you are told to lay low, which, as you can imagine, works out flawlessly.
Anyone hit and need a lawyer?
After your sneaky escape, you and your old gangmate, is that even a word, are making an attempt to let the Saints rise to glory again. There are 3 other gangs, plus a corporate firm that have taken over the city in the years since your winter sleep, and they have to go. Permanently.
You gotta be kidding me. Does it look like I'm joking?
In case you have never played Saints Row 2 yourself, allow me to introduce you to Stillwater, a city filled with poverty, corrupt police and gangs who are continuously trying to murder each other. If any Americans are watching this and suddenly think, damn, that sounds a lot like Detroit, well, you'd be right, because it's based on Detroit. If you have played Saints Row 2, you'd know that the city is divided by 2 major districts, separated by a handful of small bridges. These districts are accessible from the start and can be traveled to via plane, helicopter, bike and car. With such an array of vehicles, that must mean the driving is pretty good, right? Right? While you're cutting corners and slamming into walls, you gain respect by driving like the absolute maniac you are, popping wheelies, driving against traffic, almost crashing. If the nostalgia of the game isn't enough, just pretend you're 18 again and you're going for your driver's license. This is all fun and stuff, but what's the actual point of this open world? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Honestly? Fuck shit up. You gain access to story missions by filling up your respect meter. You gain respect by tagging walls, building on kill streaks and doing side activities. Thanks to certain game developers, I have created an enormous hatred for open world activities. Seeing a big open map with 50 different map markers on them makes me think, wow, this is really gonna suck and not be fun at all. So surely this ancient game, the predecessor of so many of these newer open world games, must have terrible, outdated and boring activities, right? No. These activities include, but are not limited to, helicopter assaults, drug trafficking, escort missions and fight clubs. If you do not have enough respect, you do not get access to the story mission. When I played this game in 2010, I didn't even know what the respect meter was. I was so busy and having so much fun doing these activities, my respect meter was always much higher than it needed to be. Doing this stuff is actually, well, fun. Like, fun. Not, yeah, I guess I have to choose between doing the collectibles or doing the outposts. No, like, you actually want to do all of this stuff. Call up your friends, hijack a car, blow up a hospital, it's all up to you. To make it even better, the activities give you rewards that are actually worth it, like discounts and damage reduction. Areas you've taken over can get attacked, constantly making sure you have to hop from place A to place B to take care of it. Sounds terrible, right? Well, it's not, as the only thing this does is make sure you lose income of said region. Those couple $100 will barely make a difference. All in all, there's quite literally always something to do, and it never gets repetitive, old, or boring. What about the negatives? Surely there must be some. Well, the game is messy as shit. Crashes, glitches, bugs, you name it. And that goes for every version of the game.
Huh?
Is that the end of the world? No, just save after every mission and we'll be fine. Now, unless you've watched the video until this part with your eyes closed, you'd have seen you tend to do a lot of shooting and a lot of fighting in this game. Thing is, when I played this game back in 2010, I did not like the shooting nor the fighting whatsoever. Saints Row 2 kinda released around the same time GTA 4 did. GTA 4 had like the whole cover system and stuff like that, which at the time was great. Now that every game and its mother has implemented the same system, it got boring as shit. But whenever people called this game a GTA clone back in the day, the only thing I could think of was, fuck do you mean another clone? Like, where are all these GTA clones at? Is there like a secret archive somewhere of GTA clones that I don't know about, that I've just never witnessed? If we start calling every game in which you drive around a GTA clone, we might as well start calling every game in which you talk to people a Sims clone, or every game in which you gamble your money away a FIFA clone. Actually, let's not do that. We don't want to give EA any more ideas. If shooting everything that moves isn't your thing, you can also attack people with knives, bats, batons, a trash can, or even cinder blocks. Why would I do that, you're asking? Well, why not? Progressing through the story also gives you access to new fighting styles, ranging from sluggish WWE type of grappling to a more kick-based taekwondo. It's not the most fleshed out melee combat system I've ever seen, but it's a whole lot better than just pressing dodge and punch with the same animations every single time. I mentioned before that you cannot customize the weapons in this game. However, is that really true? Yeah, it was. But I also wasn't lying when I said it was the only thing you could not customize. Cars, bikes, clothing, apartments, you name it, and you could make it look however you please. Suspensions, tinted windows, apartments who start out like crap but end up looking fancy, a character who you can give the look you want, plus 6 different voice actors to choose from. You can even choose the way you want to compliment or harass people. Progressing through the story gives you the option to change the way your gang dresses, the type of cars you drive, and even the tag you use to mark your territory with. Even if I tried to compare this level of freedom to games that have released in the last couple of years, I wouldn't be able to, because I can't think of any. I'm sure there are games that do this, of course there are, but that's to be expected at this point with games like The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2, who have raised the bar of details and interactive worlds to a standard that's almost impossible to replicate. Saints Row 2 was ahead of its time, man. For example, the fact different voice actors have slightly different lines, so not all the characters exactly sound the same.
So, do you remember my brother?
I'm sorry, Carlos. There were a lot of guys that wore purple in the Saints.
So, do you remember my brother?
I'm not gonna lie, got no idea who the hell you're talking about.
Or that people on the radio and on the streets react to the things you've done in the world. It makes the world feel so much more alive. There isn't much else to say about it, really. Some don't care at all about customization. I personally love it. You'll also see it in the gameplay. My character almost never looks the same. I constantly switch things up. There's a genuine feeling of progression as you grow your might and influence on the city and its citizens. After watching all of this, you might wonder, well, that all sounds pretty cool, but what is the actual game about? Yeah, gangs, but what do they even do? I purposefully saved the best for last, because even though the story is a classic case of take everything over until you're the boss, there are quite literally 0 bad or uninteresting characters. Even characters that only make an appearance for one mission add a certain element of wit and humor to them. The story is a perfect mix between humor and seriousness. The members crack jokes, funny things happen, but they also experience death and tragic events. The missions have nice twists, even though all of them end up with shooting or explosions, but that's to be expected. Even if you can't get past the gameplay or think the activities are boring, I think it's worth it to even play it just for the story alone. It won't be an extremely lengthy, tear-jerking experience that you'll never forget, but it's still really good. Even if you disagree, at least give the developers props for their creativity. Burying people alive, decapitating them, making someone kill his own girlfriend with a monster truck, it's just hilarious. I mean, tragic. It's funny though, when I write scripts for these type of videos, I turn towards the game itself afterwards with a general thought process of, okay, so I'm gonna have to record some gameplay of this, of that, etc. I didn't need to do any of that for this game. It goes automatically. Everything is just genuinely really fun to do. I was really wondering if I looked at this game with rose-colored glasses all these years, but now that I've played through it again, I can honestly say it's still an amazing game, even if you play it for the first time in 2022. You can tell some real love and care went into it. So I'm happy to announce Saints Row 2 still fucking slaps, even after 14 years. Now, let's talk about the reboot. Fuck that shit. Thanks for watching.